All right, welcome in, welcome in. What's good? What's good? Final Sunday market outlook of 2025 is officially underway. Appreciate y'all who are tapping in here with us tonight. ¿Cómo estamos? López Pablo. Esta sesión lo hago en inglés, pero si tienes unas preguntas o lo que sea en español, sin problema, lo puedo responder y lo que sea, pero esto en general va a ser en inglés. All right, so yeah, guys. Hope everybody had an amazing Christmas. I hope that you guys are feeling good. Ready for a new year in the next couple of days. Obviously, I will be celebrating New Year's, and that's gonna be fun and all that. But I mean, basically, since the 26th, my mind has already been kind of like, turning the gears of like, making sure I get some new content out. Both on YouTube, but also in the community for Akashex, and yeah, just kind of coming in hot, goal setting, creating a new. There's gonna be some new stuff coming for Akashex for those that are in it, as far as like some new and exciting type of calls and collabs we're gonna be doing. So you'll hear about it very soon, but yeah, man, just grateful for a 2025 that was honestly my best year yet. In basically almost all areas of life, man. Travel, career, everything. So yeah, excited for what the future holds this year, and it kind of already starts now. So yes. Kobe, what's up, bro? um Yeah, I've been mixing up futures for sure for the last good bit. Obviously, TradeX is like a topic that has gotten like touchy here and there, and it's hard for me to like really, promote slash defend at the same time, because I literally have like personal friends that I've known for like 6 years, like before Akashex and TradeX was even created, that are on TradeX that just got like a multiple four figure, like close to a 5 figure payout, and they don't have no strings or favors or nothing. Like I don't pull no magic strings with TradeX, you know what I'm saying? So it's tough. Like sometimes people get denied or people don't get paid in time or whatever. And then I had people that literally got like a high 4 figure payout in like a couple weeks. And so it's like I don't know. So what I always tell people is, look, at the end of the day, you gotta diversify. It's not to push away TradeX or anything. It's just kind of like, hey, at the end of the day, life is so much bigger, man. Like this space has plenty of options and opportunities, and we just gotta evolve. Like there was a time where we were on unregulated brokers heavy in the forex era back in 2018 to 2020, and then that got all out of whack, and then MetaTrader shut down, and then we had Trade Locker, and then futures has gotten obviously more popular. And I mean, it's always gonna be that way. Like as a trader, you're gonna have your curve of learning, such as like strategies and understanding the markets and all that stuff. But then the other battle is kind of like, where do I deposit money? Who do I have as a partner, and as far as like brokers and prop firms and this and that. So it's something that you gotta like always be on your toes about, and keep your options open, and see what's out there. So that's really what it is. Like TradeX has always been a great partner, and then obviously the last couple of months it's gotten a little rougher, and then it's gotten better like semi recently, and so it's always like a back and forth. You know what I'm saying? But the same way, that people talk about doing network marketing or getting into trading, or quote unquote being your own boss, so that you never have to depend on an employer to pay your check. And what if they fire you one day? Like, people got to realize, it's the same thing no matter what you do, whether it's trading or this or that. Like, if you put all your eggs in one place, you just got to really hope that place is great and stays great. And I mean, nothing lasts forever, like literally anything. So that's why I say, when it comes to Akashex, TradeX, everything, like, take advantage of it right now. Do what you can with whatever you have in front of you right now, and go as hard as you can. But just always be ready for the next phase. Always be prepared, always have a contingency plan. So that's a big thing. It's a big thing. Do you think we're gonna have another low market volatility? I mean, kind of. I mean, I always said it since the beginning of the month. I'm like, my plan is to do as much damage as I can before December 23rd, 24th, and then take it from there. And so we're past that time. I think once it got up to like Christmas Eve, basically this last week of the year is not something to have high hopes for or high expectancy. And that's how I treated it, and it's been okay. End of the day, we have an entire year, so aside from bank holidays and all that stuff, like there's so many opportunities we have to trade. We don't have to trade this last week of the year. Basically from the 24th on, like I called out trades and whatever, just to like keep the model, just to like test my model and to jump into lower risk trades and whatnot. And so technically we hit a TP on Friday, which I'll show here on the screen, like this last day right here. Obviously it wasn't a huge profit. It was like not even a 1-to-1. It was like a 0.7 R trade. So like, a little bit over a half hour multiple. But that was really it though, and then the price kind of got stuck. So can't really force anything if the volatility is not there. And yeah, for the most part, I wouldn't expect much either until basically I think January 4th, 5th. So on the 5th we have like the first real like Monday of the year. You get me? Because yeah, technically January 1st is Thursday, and then you can trade Friday the 2nd, but I think Friday the 2nd is going to be pretty crappy, kind of like how December 26th was. Obviously, you never know, but that's how it could go. So January 5th, Monday, is really where we could say, like, all right, like the races are on now. So we'll see. But what I would say is, like, either don't have much expectancy this week, keep your risk low, and perhaps don't even trade. Like, you can literally just observe the market. You get me? So it's up to y'all. But yeah, January 5th is kind of like the real beginning of of like the next trading that we want to take super serious. So but yeah, pretty much last week, to kind of recap again, this wasn't a week that is by any means that great. Monday, and when I do these recaps, like I'm gonna always do it with the filter of trading the model that I've been like doing for the last couple months. So if you guys have obviously different methods and things you look for, of course, then that can create different trade opportunities. But personally, based on the model that I've been teaching, that is kind of like the lens that I look at NASDAQ through, and how I talk about how the week went, basically. So Monday, based on the rules, there was no trade. Tuesday, based on the rules, there was also no trade. And then Wednesday, there was a buy setup that did line up. And what's it called? Thursday was Christmas, so there was no trade. And then Friday, there was like a flat day. So basically, it was 3 no trade days based on the rules. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday produced a 2-to-1. Thursday was no trade, and then Friday was kind of like flat. So even then, like it wasn't a bad week. Like there wasn't really like with the model losing trades really there. So we'll see where we're at now, but I've been looking at this like major level here that for me was just like super obvious as like the main buy side liquidity target if we're looking at the higher time frames, like the 4-hour and above. Like if we even put this up to a daily, basically we have again these highs here that are all grouped up, and then the next target will be the all-time high. So these are the buy side liquidity targets here, and that's where I kind of expect the market to end up going. Everything really started from here, where we like took the liquidity from these lows, shifted direction, ended up making a lower high respecting these lows, and now it seems like we want to go and run this high. It's gonna be really important to see how price reacts here. Obviously, if price does not break this high and we kind of stall out around here and come lower, then we'll look at, you know, this low again as a target. But for now, I think that price wants to go higher. I think we saw manipulation of these lows. Price came up, came back down, but didn't make a new low, and now we're rallying to go and take these highs out. And if we break and close above those highs, then maybe we get a little bit of a retracement, but overall we end up hitting an all-time high to start the year. I think that's personally how I see it playing out. So I will most likely have like a bullish bias or like a lens when I'm looking at the setups throughout the week. Obviously, once we have the actual session starting and everything, we're gonna have to go off the confirmations of the models and everything that we use. But I will be very confident in the models if they also are pointing towards buys, at least until we get to, you know, that level where we saw those equal highs there. So if we get models that say to buy, I'm gonna be very, very confident in those to take us to here. And then we'll see what's up. Let me see. O sea, de partir del 4-5, ¿crees que volveremos a tener operaciones de 3-1, 4-1? Bueno, sí, el volumen, si hay más volumen, tienes más probabilidades de llegar a más riesgo-recompensa. A fin del día, para mí personalmente, estoy enfocado en asegurarme lo más posible de 2-1 para arriba. Por ejemplo, and I'll tell you guys what I'm saying in Spanish in a second here. I just wanted to get to this question in Spanish. So, la semana anterior, no la que pasó ahora, que era una semana de feriado y esas cosas. Pero lunes a viernes de la otra semana, que era la semana que empezaba del día 15, había el lunes vamos a decir que solo estamos cerrando 2-1 por si acaso, por ejemplo, ¿no? 2-1 el lunes y yo personalmente, si estamos operando una operación o dos máximo al día, estoy cómodo con arriesgando 1%, pero 2% el lunes, menos 1 el martes 16. El miércoles era más 2 y vemos que ese día sí fue mucho más de 2-1 riesgo recompensa, pero bueno, 2 menos 1 son 1, más 2 son 3. El jueves fueron otros 2, son 5, y el viernes fue una pérdida aquí que era menos 1, so la semana terminas con más 4%. Eso es solo con cerrando 2-1 y tomando pérdidas de menos 1, ¿no? Y eso fue la semana anterior. Esta última técnicamente cerró con más 2. Y si tienes varias cuentas de fondeo y tienes suficiente capital, eso hace una gran diferencia. Eso es lo que yo me enfoco. Y bueno, hay días que sí puede producir más de 2-1. Por ejemplo, este día que fue el miércoles. Y eso llegó hasta 8-1. Pero, vale, mira, al fin del día mucha gente no va a tener la confianza para aguantar más de 2-1 en muchos casos. Por eso yo enseño a lo menos sacar 2-1, y si puedes y está cayendo el mercado fuerte, entonces 3 o 4-1, lo que sea, empuja más. So yeah, basically what I was saying, guys, was he asked about like if we get the volume coming back in, like quote unquote normal volume, if we could start pushing more like our multiples, like 3-1s, 4-1s. And what I was saying was that, like, yeah, I mean, if we look at the week of the 15th, like I was showing here, December 15th, we had if we have the lens of just closing 2% winners and minus 1% losers, it's still good opportunities. Like Monday we had a 2% winner, and I say 2% like it's 2R multiples, but if I'm taking 1 to 2 trades a day max, I'm comfortable with risking 1%. And I mean, you guys can adjust that however you want, but I think a 1% risk is not crazy, because if we look at, like let's say 5 trades a week, you have a total of like 5% risk exposure. So if you're trading CFDs, that's like half of your challenge. So basically, you'd have to have 5 losing days in a row, 2 weeks in a row to lose your challenge if you risk 1%. So that's why I usually stick to like 1% roughly. If you're trading futures that has like a tighter drawdown, obviously we gotta cut that to like, you know, uh basically you want to look at your total drawdown and be able to take like somewhere around like 7 to 10 trades before you end up losing it. I think that's an aggressive but in the middle option, especially if you're passing evaluation. We don't want to take forever on them. But long story short, if you have a 2% winner on Monday, we had a loser on Tuesday, so that's at a +1 total, right? And then Wednesday was another +2, which ended up running for a total of 8R that day. But we just say 2R for the sake of simplicity. That puts us back up to 3R, and then Thursday was a 5R with this extra 2 right here. And then Friday, we ended up taking an L there. So that week was a +4 when it was all said and done. If you took a trade every single day with the model, it went for like +4. And so if you have like a 200K account, that's 8K, for example. If you have multiple stacked accounts, like you got to do the math of the capital you have and the capital you're looking to work towards, and you'll realize like you don't need to take that many trades a week. If you can take one solid setup a day and you can even bank that like 3 days a week, the goal is to just have enough capital built up. Whether you have, you max out allocation in this firm and then you have another firm and then another firm. Like that's the goal. Is we want to try to scale after you develop consistency, of course. But the whole point of the model is to have an approach that we have clarity on whether to buy or sell, when to buy or sell, and the outcomes that are expected. 2% winners, 1% losers. Manage the trades to go break even, obviously in certain conditions. Overall, you can see like, again, any week that I look at it, most of the time, once like if the market's gonna hit 2%, it's gonna do it, and usually you'll be good. Like it's really like we don't see many with this strategy. We don't really see too many times where like price is dropping, coming back to break even, dropping, coming back to break even, and like dancing around the entry for a really long time. And if that happens, most of the time it's because the trade's probably just gonna be a losing trade that day. But a lot of the times, like when we have a winner, like it just wins. Like this day, I think this was Wednesday the 17th, was one day that it was trickier. Because price did dance around the entry a bit on that specific setup. So it's never gonna be like picture perfect easy every day. But yeah, this type of day doesn't happen often. Like where you have our entry criteria and then price revisits the entry 1, 2, 3, 4 times before eventually hitting 2 to 1. So yeah, there's a world where this is up like 1% and maybe you close it or it goes break even and then you like exit the trade and you don't take this. Then yeah, whatever, like that's gonna happen. I'm not gonna sit here and say that we're gonna execute these models perfectly every day. Well, obviously, we do need to execute them consistently for the most part, as much as possible, if we're gonna actually use it to our advantage. So, but at the end of the day, most of the time, you're not gonna have price dance around too much if the trade is gonna be good. Like again, for example, on this day, we get a clean crossover for the entry here, and it went pretty much straight into a 2% profit without much hesitation at all. So like that's really how it usually is. Like you get a nice entry and it just goes, right? So yeah, basically I don't know. I feel like we're not over risking or like overexposing ourselves because we're not looking for so many trades in a day or a week. So at the end of the day, like I feel like literally the worst possible week that we could have is a -5 week, and I've never seen that so far. Like with this, and it's been like 3 months. obviously that's not, and I'm saying 3 months like forward testing. I've back tested even more before that, but like actually practically forward testing this over the last, you know, almost 3 months basically, we have not had a week where we did that, you know. Even like in general, we've probably had like some -1 weeks or maybe even a -2 weeks somewhere along the way, maybe. But for the most part, like that's it's been rare. Like if you execute it properly, there's been for the most part at least a +2 week almost every week, which means that you're gonna have maybe a +2, 3 no trade days, uh, you know, another +2 day, and then a -1 day, like something like that. You know, like it's gonna be multiple days break evens. You know, maybe 2 winning trades and then 2 losing trades, something along those lines. It's not gonna be super clean every week, but again, like this week, technically, Monday you shouldn't have taken a position, nor Tuesday. Wednesday had a 2%. Thursday was a no trade day, and then Friday was basically a break even day. Never hit, got it never even got close to stop loss or nothing. But it basically danced around the entry, and you either closed out baby profits or you just went break even. So even on a terrible week of like volume and a bunch of no trade days, it still had one winner at least there. And again, if you have enough capital stacked up over the, you know, however many firms or whatever, like it adds up. It adds up a lot. It's just you gotta trust it, man. Like I feel like, you know, there's gonna be a lot of stuff I'm gonna make, and like when I make the new videos, especially in Akashics, for like people to just get it in their head, like the actual practical way that you can make money with the strategy, not just like hypotheticals. You know what I'm saying? Like actually show you, like, hey, let's look at all these models that we've had for the past, you know, 90 days. And even if you were to execute with errors here and there and whatever, like this is what was like potential risk to reward or our multiples. And it's like it'll show you like, damn, like the money's always there. It's just sticking to something, you know. Some people that are on here may be trading the model that I've been teaching. Some people are not. They're doing their own thing, but they're applying some stuff that I talk about. Even if it's just like psychological things, then whatever. Like, you know, at the end of the day, you guys are gonna do what you're gonna do. But most of the time, people just like, you know, they feel back and forth or whatever because they don't really have a consistent approach. Like they have a consistent approach for a month, but then they switch their approach, and so that's not really a consistent approach. You know, like people consistently switch their style or whatever. So you kind of know where you fall in, like what bucket you fall into if you just take a good look in the mirror. It's like, yo, you know, 2025, I started, maybe it was your first year trading. Maybe some of you have been trading for longer. It just depends. But, you know, if you've been doing this for at least like 6 months or a year plus, at some point you're gonna have to like kind of dial in a method, you know, and it doesn't have to be mine. I really don't care. Like, and I say it because there are certain things that are like principles that I teach that apply to any strategy, and then the strategy is one component of it. You get me? I just think the biggest thing is just having the right framework about probabilities and understanding, you know, losing streaks, winning streaks, risk management, where to get capital, how to get capital. All those things, you know, are very important that are not necessarily like my entry strategy. You get me? Like I feel like sometimes people make their entry strategy their whole identity, and it's like that's just a piece of it. Like you can have an entry strategy all you want, but if you don't have the other components also there, it won't serve you as well as you think. Like, you know, some people think, and I even thought that for a while too, is like if I have the right entry strategy, like all my problems are solved. And it's like, yeah, but then you have the issue of trade management. When do you close profits? You know, are you closing 1 Rs, 2 Rs, 3 Rs, 4 Rs? You know, what happens when your entry strategy that you just learned on YouTube that looks really nice, you win for like 3 weeks straight, and then you have like 2 losing months, and now all of a sudden you're like, I don't know what happened to me. Like, I don't know if it's me, is it the strategy? Maybe I gotta try something else. Like, you will always find yourself in that cycle. And a lot of times, like, if you actually just look at it, the model was actually probably decent, but the way that you maybe, like, impulsively jumped in a little bit too early, maybe, you didn't manage the trades correctly. Like, it really could come down to a lot of different details. I'm not gonna lie. So all those little, details are something that's what we have this last week of the year for. Like, if you don't take this time in the last week of the year to just kind of, try to go through however long. I mean, maybe some of you have been trading since the beginning of the year, like a whole year. That's one thing. Some of you have literally just gotten into it maybe like 90 days ago. So it just depends. But if you were like majority of the year already in trading, you gotta try to look at all your screenshots, your journals, like all the stuff that you have in your phone, laptop, whatever. Hopefully you've recorded like your journey, because if you don't record anything like how you used to trade, how you trade now, how many times did you switch strategy? What strategies did you try? Like, as much information as you can collect and actually review, it will show you, like, your strengths and weaknesses, what you can kind of continue to build on, what you definitely need to just scrap to the side heading into next year. Like, definitely a big time of reflection. At least you should take it that way, to be honest. Because once the new year starts, then guess what happens? Like, we're back into the fire. Everybody's just ready to trade and ready to jump back in. And it's like, if we never make time to like assess what happened and what we need to like continue doing, change, stop doing, all that, then when are you gonna do that? Like, when are you gonna take the time to do that? And some people never do. And so they just think like, oh, if I just run fast enough, I'll outrun all of my problems. And it's like, nah, you can't just keep trading through all your issues. Like, you have to actually stop at one point and like pay attention to what's going on and then see what you need to change. And it's not about winning or losing too. Like, for example, like this model could have a really crappy next 2 weeks to start the year, and it doesn't mean anything as far as like needing to change something. Like over the next 10 days, we can, let's hypothetically say, over the next 2 weeks of trading, we have like 3 losing days, uh, you know, 4 break even days, and then 3 winning days, right? 10 trading days. You're gonna have -3. You're gonna have obviously zeros across the board here, and then you're gonna have maybe a +6, and then you're gonna be up +3. And some people are gonna see a +3 over a 2 week span and be like, "Oh, that sucks." But it's like, dude, you're still in profit, and you only won 3 out of 10 trades. Like, think about that. Like, if we take a trade from Monday to Friday for the next 2 weeks and we only win 3, that means you had to basically, like, let's say you win Monday and then you have like 2 break even days, a losing day, and then a winning day, right? And then the next week you have a losing day, break even, and a win. When you get that win on Friday, you haven't gotten a win since the Friday before. So you went through 1 win on Monday, 3 days of like basically no trading / break even. Then you had a couple losses and then a couple break even. So it took you like a whole week just to win your next trade. And even then, you'll still be at a what's it called? You have a -3 break evens and then a +6. So your net total is +3%. Like, even if you only won 3 out of your next 10 trades to start the year, you'll still be up, 3% when it's all said and done. And again, what happens if even if that's a 100K account, that's a 100K account, that's 3K, And whatever, like for some people that's massive, and then for other people that have maybe gotten payouts, that's like quote unquote low amounts of money. But guess what? If you did that same whatever money the next 2 weeks to end the first month of the year, that's another 3K. Even after profit splits, you're probably staying with over like 5K or whatever for the month to start the year. That's just one 100K account, and assuming that we only do like 3R every 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like we've had some, like literally 2 weeks ago was a 4R week, for example. And this last Christmas week technically was a 2R with the strategy. You get me? So you'll be surprised if you have decent accounts and if you like actually are consistent with something, like how much you could do. But the thing is, like most of the times the issue is like we need to pass a phase 1 in 3 days, and so if you don't do it in 2 days, then you start going crazier with your risk and you start over leveraging, over trading, and just getting yourself into a situation where you're just trying to go really fast, you know like if you actually jot down the numbers, you will kind of be like, bro, wait, what? Like how is that possible? Like, can I actually make this much if I just do this? And it's like, yeah, but in the moment we feel like we need to like we have to do more. And trading is not about, like, you can't, it's not something that you just force yourself in, like you force trades, or like you force yourself, like you will your way into profit. It's just not like that. Like trading, it doesn't know who you are, it doesn't know what your goals are, it doesn't know what account size you have. Like trading is just information, and you have to understand that. And all these funded accounts and all this stuff, they're just tools that you're using to try to extract stuff from this information. But like you trying to get back into a trade, or like trying to revenge trade, like revenge against who? You know what I'm saying? Like, who are you fighting against? You're just fighting against yourself. Like, you're frustrated that you executed incorrectly. You're frustrated that you didn't analyze correctly that day. Like, you're just mad at yourself, and then you try to, you know, prove to yourself that, like, if I take another trade, like, I'm gonna make up for it. And it's like no one cares. You know what I'm saying? Like, like no one, no one cares. Like, you're nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like in the world of trading, you're a nobody. So revenge trading and trying to like force your way into like getting good trades, like it only will complicate you. You know what I'm saying? So it just comes down to like taking a step back and like picking a way to trade where you know what you're looking for. You're gonna execute it the same way every day. And some weeks it's gonna suck, some weeks it's gonna be alright, some weeks it's gonna be really good. But you will have the peace of mind knowing that like you're consistent. Like you know what you're looking for. It's not a. The thing is, people like the thrill of actually not having a strategy, and you won't admit it to yourself, or you probably don't realize it, but like the emotions of not having a consistent system, it makes trading funner, because like you're gonna come into the day and you're like, oh, I don't know how today's gonna go, like what's gonna happen. And if you don't already have a set approach, you're just gonna kind of go with what you see in the moment. Oh man, price is spiking down, we're gonna go for sells, and then it just like spikes up and you're like, oh my god, what happened? Or like some days, like like you might just snipe the bottom of this move and then it flies up and you're like, oh, I'm the best trader ever, like I sniped the bottom. And it's like, it doesn't matter if you took a loss or even if you won. Like that's not really what makes the day good or bad. It's about, did you know why you won? Like, was it something that you can do again and again and again without getting lucky? I feel like that's the way you want to really measure yourself this year, is like have a way to trade, stick to that way of trading, and pat yourself on the back if you actually stick to what you said you were going to do that day, and then do that over and over and over. Again, it comes down to having a good system though. Like if you have the wrong strategy, if you have the wrong way of doing things, like obviously it doesn't matter how much you follow a bad strategy, it's a bad strategy. So that's why I tell people, like, you don't have to trade mine, but the same way I can go on my chart and show you exactly where my entries are and show you exactly the outcome each and every single day, and it's the same method every single time, like, I just want you to be able to do that for me with what you're doing then. You get me? And not because I am asking you to do it, it's just for yourself. Like, if you can't walk somebody through exactly why you take the trades you take every single day, it's gonna be really hard. Because the market, like, you might like be really good at analyzing a trending market, and you don't really have like a super set specific strategy. You just kind of like, for example, oh, I know about fair value gaps. Oh, I know about liquidity sweeps. Oh, I know about support and resistance, trend lines. I know about Fibonacci. I know about RSI. I know about this. Like, we can go through the list of different things, volume profile, whatever, like, whatever you use, and you're like, oh, like, I saw this and I did this and I did that. And then in a trendy market, you start doing really good, but then when the market starts to like chop around, you're lost, and then you try to trade through it, and then you start losing a bunch of trades and you don't know what's going on. Like, that's the issue. Is like, if you don't really have a specific method that you can explain in like multiple steps and have clarity about why you take them, it's like time's gonna run out eventually. Hopefully not. Like, I really want everybody to do good, but I've just seen it time and time again in myself and in other people. Like, the people that do really well over and over is somebody that can outline exactly what they're looking for every day without fault. Whether it loses or wins and goes through losing streaks or not, like, that's a different story. But like, I have my confirmations here, and I know what I'm looking for. 10 a.m. rolls around. How was that 6 a.m. candle? Was it bullish, bearish? We have Asia bullish, bearish. What's the VWAP like? And then we have the manipulation against our direction, and then we push back into our direction, and then we execute. So unless I see that, like, there's no trade to take. And that's why there's certain days, like Monday was a no trade day. Tuesday was a no trade day, because Monday called for buys and we never crossed back above the green line, so there was no trade. Tuesday, we were supposed to drop down. We had initially gotten like a drop right away on Tuesday, but then we never got that manipulation higher. So price basically crossed back up. We never came back down, which means that there was no trade. And there's other days where it does do it, like for example, Tuesday or Thursday. Thursday, the 18th? Yeah, Thursday the 18th. We were looking for buys that day. All right, price crosses up, drops against our direction, starts to cross back over. That's our confirmation. So there we have a good trade. It's 2-1, and then you're out. And then you walk away. Like, I'm not taking a second trade. I'm not looking at anything else. I don't care about anything else. Like, it's got to be repetitive, boring, predictable. And I mean, that's like everything we have ever wanted as traders, is to have something that we know exactly what we're looking for and we just take it. But for whatever reason, like, sometimes people, they just want to find something new, man. They just want to get something exciting, different. They want to take a guess. They want to gamble, whether you admit it or not, So if somebody else has other systems that, like, they can show me in a 5-step thing or 3 steps or whatever every single day, or not every single day, but like, every week, we can find some good setups with very specific set of rules, following an exact method, like, let me know. You get me? Like, I'm always open to incorporating things that are consistent, but yeah, that's what it is. So I've taught Liberty for like, oh my god, what is it now? Like a year and a half, almost 2 years. And we've always had like the Asia thing that we've been doing, and that was good. But even then, for those that have been with me for that whole time, we know that there was some times where like price may break out of Asia, but we don't know if it's going to be a fake out or a breakout. And so it took a little bit more of like a judgment call or like discretion in the day for us to know which way to go, and that was okay, but I felt like we could have made it better. And so I started incorporating this, something that allowed us to not have to trade during 9:30 or trade during news or whatever. And we had a clear daily bias, whether it won or not. And some weeks it's not great, but we have clarity. And for me, that's what I try to value the most, is having clarity, because I know that if I have clarity about my bias and all the things that I need to see to take a trade, then I can clearly backtest. That's the thing. If I have clarity on my rules, I can go and backtest to the T all of those things, and then say, damn, you know, and that's what happened. I said, okay, these are the rules. I'm gonna backtest X amount of time. And when I did that, I was like, damn, like, it's consistent. Started forward testing it without any fear, literally without any hesitation. Started dropping it on the sessions, doing it on the sessions, and it's been working, you know. Again, everybody that does it, like, they're gonna have their little things that they're gonna, you know, have to learn, which is like not being impulsive on the entries, getting the clear confirmations. All that stuff is not gonna be perfect, but I don't know. I feel like I can build on this for the rest of the year and document it and do well. So that's what we're gonna do. But yeah, for the most part, to kick us off, I think that the very clear target is gonna be these highs up here again. So we should be seeing price bullish for the most part until we can take out those highs. And I mean, once we do take out those highs, I would definitely expect some type of strong retracement. And then we'll see what happens from there. Obviously, once we take out those highs, we're either going to work our way back down pretty aggressively, or maybe give like a slight, you know, drop off, and then we end up going for all-time highs. That, you know, we'll see. But at least for right now, the main play, even if we do see price maybe drop to start the week, I would still overall be focused on getting us up to here. So keep your eye on those highs there. All right, let's see here. All right, cool. Well, yeah, so if you guys have any questions, let me know. But if not, that was pretty much my little mini rant to start the last week of 2025. Again, I do want to create some content, both public for free and also private if you're in the Akashex. You know, to just kind of prepare for the year and have like a actual outline of what to do from start to finish. Like, how to think about it, the probabilities, how to think about your system, like just literally everything I can possibly think of to give a good format or structure to like check yourself against. And then whether you apply this strategy or a different one, I want it to still be flexible to incorporate whether you trade a different model, because at the end of the day, the model is just the way that the math is being extracted. But as long as like the math, the mindset, and the way we can scale with firms and stuff is all there, it's like different roads can lead to the same destination type of thing. So obviously I like my entry model and I teach it because it's cool and fun and all that stuff, and it works for me and I like it, and for somebody else it might also work. But ultimately I just want to see you guys make money, and yeah, maybe it's with a different model, who knows. But yeah, let me know if you guys got any questions. English, Spanish, doesn't matter. And we'll wrap it up. For Agustin, could you upload this 24th class? Oh, did I not upload the 24th? I did stream on the 24th, huh? Yeah, I'll make sure it's there if it's not there. And then this is gonna be posted obviously on YouTube Live. So appreciate you, Noemi. All right, cool. I think we're good to go. So yeah, guys. Again, this week I don't expect anything crazy, but we'll see what happens. Other than that, though, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the little bit that we do have of the year. We'll be doing another boot camp. Okay, so the thing with the okay, so that's part of like what I was saying earlier is like Akashics has something cooking right now, but we're gonna see about the boot camp. Like we originally had a boot camp planned like heading into the new year. Because we did one in October and we wanted to do like a 90-day span, which we're basically wrapping up like in the next couple of days, obviously. But I think we're gonna do something prior to having a boot camp that's gonna be very interactive for whoever is in Akashics. It's gonna be like very engaging, very fun. It's gonna be multiple educators, including myself, collabing on something. So very much in the like putting it together and figuring it out stage right now because we just had this conversation literally yesterday. So it will be very fun though. It's gonna be super cool. So just if you're in Akashics, obviously just be tuned in and you'll see what I'm talking about soon. But yeah. Cool. But yeah guys, I'll see you on the sessions this week. Tomorrow I have Spanish at 11 a.m. Eastern, and then Tuesday, Wednesday. So hold on. The when is the first? The first is Thursday. Okay. So I'll stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, not Thursday the first. Or maybe yeah, probably not the first. I'm not gonna lie. But definitely Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday I will. So I'll see you guys on there then. But yeah, guys, hope you have an amazing rest of your Sunday night. I'll see you guys soon. And yeah, let's make the most out of the rest of the year. Appreciate